The value system. I need some advice. I am 24, my husband is 26. Things within my marriage have been terrible for about a year. We've both been living separate lives in the same house. No bonding, no intimacy. I love him, but it just isn't enough. We have had slept with about 5 times in the past year. I always initiate. It's very boring. I don't show that I'm bored. After I feel disgusting as he makes it seem like doing what we have done is just not nice. 7 months ago, I started a new job and met an older man. He's 44 and married. We got on really well. Spent every night talking on Facebook, which eventually moved on to text and phone calls. We spoke about the problems within each of our marriages and just connected. The conversations moved from friendly advice to getting each other off, telling each other exactly what we wanted to do to each other. One night we let it happen. We swore it would never happen again. But it did. For months, we fell in love. He has been married for 20 years and has 2 kids. He's never cheated on his wife before and feels horrible for what he has done, but we fell in love. It got to the stage that the bonding wasn't even that important. He was still there and still very passionate, but it was more about the spending time together. On Sunday, my husband hacked my Facebook account and read the messages between the other guy and me. I delete them every week, but he read a part where I told the other guy that I loved him and that I wasn't in love with my husband anymore. My husband left and has been really good. He's living at his parents' but has been here every day since to talk things through. We talked through all of our problems and agreed to give it another go, but slowly. This is what I want 100%, but I'm not in love with him. My heart is breaking, but not because of my husband, because of the other guy. Not being able to see him is killing me. So, I want to make things work with my husband, but I don't know first off how I get him to be more passionate in the bedroom and how I actually become attracted to him. I don't know if it's unfair of me to try again when I'm worried that our physical lives may ruin us again. Will I be miserable if the bonding never changes? I'm only 24. Do I want a life without that key part? Should I just tell my husband that I love him but can't be with him, be selfish, or do I try my hardest to be happy with him? Even if I leave him, I could never be with the other guy. He is married and has kids and would never leave because he's too scared. He'll lose his kids, which I completely understand. We work together. He is an engineer. I am a project manager. He didn't go looking for this. We spent a lot of late nights in work and got on really well. I also did try with my husband. All of the advice I was given I took and tried to change things. I never went out looking for him and he never went out looking for me. I have been completely honest with my husband. When he questioned me about it, I didn't lie. I told him exactly what had happened. What's the point in lying? I don't need people to tell me how horrible I am. I know this. I hate myself right now. My husband wants to work through this and come out the other end. I want that too, but I'm scared that the same problems will arise. I will never do what I have done again, but what sort of life is that for me and him? Doesn't he deserve someone who loves him for him and who isn't just staying with him because that's what he wants? As soon as he asked me, I told him everything. As soon as he read the emails, he called me and I told him everything. Haven't seen the other guy since obviously and never want to see him again. I love the other guy. Not seeing him or contacting him is tearing me apart. It hurts, but I know I deserve that. I never expected or wanted him to leave his wife. What I'm worried about is fixing things with my husband and being in the same situation again years down the line. I know I can work at this and make my marriage work, and I know that's what my husband wants. But I don't know if it's fair on either of us to do this. I want to prove to him I'm sorry and I know I can do that. But should I put him through that? Or should I hurt him more now so he'll be happier without me in the future? I want to fix things. I just need to make sure that fixing things is right for both of us. We're both on holiday for 3 weeks for Easter and then I get a transfer. I have to see him and work, but the thought of being with him makes me sick. In no way blame my husband for what happened. I chose to do what I have done. I'm not proud of myself. I want to love him again but need to sort out the issues that lead me to cheat in the first place, or well, both end up miserable. I would also like to point out that I have told my husband that I'm not in love with him and that I want to be. We both feel that we can work through this and make it work. But it would seem most of you think I should give up and let him go find someone else. I guess I don't want to do that. I don't want to be divorced at 24 without even trying. I told him when we spoke about everything. He said he wanted to try and I explained that I did too, but I was still in love with the other guy and I didn't know how I could switch those feelings right away. I did love him. We both got lazy and stopped caring and I messed up. I wish I had tried to fix things before I done something stupid, but I didn't. I know we can be fantastic together because we have been in the past. We just have to work to get back there, I hope. He knows, my husband knows. I haven't spoken to him since. Deleted from Facebook, blocked from email, deleted number, and asked him not to contact me. He's always been like this since we met. He is very shy and conservative in that department and I'm the opposite. I have spoken to him about this before but he just gets embarrassed and shy about the conversation. I'm not remorseful because I don't want to tell his wife. That's his life, not mine. He'll fix things with my husband and he can deal with whatever he chooses to do with his wife. The last time I had slept with him was November, before that in June. I started the job 7 months ago. The emotional affair started about 6 months ago, the physical almost 5. Frequency has always been poor. When we first slept together, it was every other day for about a month, and then it gone less, obviously. When we were married, we didn't sleep together for months after our wedding and for months before it. I never thought it was a huge problem. Everything in every other way was so good. Best friends, done everything together. I thought I could live with the bonding thing. I realize now that it's a bigger part of life than I imagined. We became friends and not lovers. We need to be both for this to work. If he doesn't want to, then I can't stay in it. That sounds selfish, but I can't live without it. But it's not just the bonding I need someone to look after me. I don't have any parents and I need him to help me through that. He has known that since we got together, so it's no surprise. He isn't home yet. He has been here every day to talk things through but can't stay, which I understand completely. He's heading over for dinner right now, so I'm going to go get ready for him. My comment: I don't like this at all. But if your husband wants to take you back, it is what it is. Not many are given that chance after an unfaithful situation, and you should be grateful for that. Remember that marriage is a covenant of love where you choose to love every day of your married life. Never forget your vows, especially the part that talks about being together through the goods and the bad. Marriage takes some work, but the basics you need is love and a willing heart that fights for what is right. Don't be ashamed for what you did, but repent from it. That means turn your back to it and move forward. Crap happens and we all make mistakes. Don't listen to the condemnations on this page. The one without fault can throw the first rock. Open your eyes and seek good. Don't let your feelings and hormones blind you and keep you from doing what is right. It is only through unself-centered love that you can gain what you need. Open your heart to your husband. Let him know how much it hurts to not feel loved the way you need to feel love. Say it without pointing a finger at him, and do that in love and with love. Seek counseling if you need it. I recommend you read a book called 5 Love Languages. Whether you are religious or not, it helps. Not everybody feel love the same way. He may have some stuff he also needs to share with you. Ask him if there is anything on your side that needs to be fixed or that you could do to improve the situation. Maybe there are some things on your side keeping him apart. Hopefully he will open up to you too. I am 28 and my husband is 29. We have been married for 4 years now, and I do also desire that passion and romance that we all dream of. Not like we never slept together, but I am more leaning towards the everyday passion, not only during intimate encounters. I logged in here today because of that. Earlier, when my husband got home, I gave him a hard time, again, for not being passionate and super hugging, sort of what you see in the movies, the look in each other's eyes in love kind of look thing. He took it the wrong way and thought of it as nagging and asked me why I always point at the wrong and not the good things he always does for me. It really made me think, because he is right. He is pushed away by my nagging at him about hugging me and passionately kissing me, lol. Silly, I know. But you know, he is right. He is too good for me to nag at him about this. He actually kisses me and hugs me all the time, just not the way I have pictured it in my head. So, I will think of and enjoy the support, encouragement, protection, love he shows me through other things, while I wait for him to give me my portion of passion and romance that I dream of. Maybe you can think of those things too. Look at the light and the good in him. Highlight it and tell him about those things. Say sorry for nagging and start loving on him the way he feels love. Things may change for your benefit, and you can get the attention you want and deserve. Try and you may get surprised. Story 2. Nowhere to run. I am new here and my marriage is over. I have nowhere to go for people to understand the depth of the pain I am experiencing. My husband asked me for a separation and divorce this morning. This not the first time. This is the third. We have been married for 9 years and together for 14 years. He is 51 and I am 44. Sometime in early 2019, my husband began a PA with someone at work. This was not apparent to me until the summer of that year after I returned home from a business trip early because I had a feeling that something was not right. Well, I was right and caught him with her in our driveway. Of course, I was upset. I had a lot of other things going on with me, the loss of my baby sister and pressure at work. I was angry about everything and it showed. That was not an excuse for him to step out on the marriage. He had to admit the affair because he was caught. I threw things at him and the day ended with him, now I realize, manipulating me, saying he would never do that again and that he loved me and wanted it to work out. We began to see the worst MC I think we could find. However, we stopped seeing her as I soon began to realize that she was supporting his justification for stepping out. Months roll by and we are tiptoeing around everything, and then on New Year's Day he packs his stuff and walks out saying he needed to find his own happiness. I was a mess. I cried, I pleaded, I begged. Then I stopped. While I did drop about 22 pounds in about a month and a half, I started running and working out again in the spring. He then called to say he was being deployed to Afghanistan and that he needed me to complete paperwork. Then a month before he was to deploy, I was served with official separation papers. But because he was being deployed, I would not be able to serve him with anything until he returned to U.S. soil. I didn't speak to him again until August 2020. This is after I detached for months, and I decided to answer a Skype call from him. We talked and he said he wanted to try our marriage again. I told him that I was not sure and we just talked off and on until he asked me to travel overseas to visit him while he took a 2-week leave. I traveled to Germany in November 2020. He returned home to US in April 2021 and he moved back into our home in June 2021. Everything seemed great. We were spending quality time together. We were hanging out with friends and family and traveling. Then in February 2022, he said that he was unhappy and could not tell me why. We found a great MC neutral to our individual needs but very dedicated to us as a couple. This is where I found out about a lot of his pet peeves about me. I stacked things, I didn't want to try new things, and he thought I felt awkward in social settings. He said he was looking for a perfect mate. Well, the counselor quickly told him that no one or no couple is perfect. We all have flaws, and it's how you deal with them and learn to accept them. We continued to see her even after he moved out again in April 2022. He got an apartment and said he wanted to try a separation so that he knew what it was like to live without me and depend on me. We were speaking every day and we even attended a friend's BBQ on Memorial Day that year together. We continued to see our MC and he was making somewhat of a breakthrough. He moved back in August 2022, but that same month, I found an email he sent to another woman telling her that she loved her. I was irate. I called him. He was doing his 2 weeks of active duty in Norfolk. He was panicked, or so it seems now. He asked for my forgiveness. I told him that I could not do that. He kept asking until I gave and only after requiring that he immediately stop seeing her and break off whatever it was he had with her. She was married as well. We had a cooling off and he stayed with a friend for a while and then he called to tell me that he could not leave without me. We had what I thought was the best year yet. I prodded him for any information. We would be cooking and would just say, "Honey, this is beat I have felt about us in a long time. Honey, I am so very happy." Fast forward to 3 weeks ago, August 10th. Him, "Honey, have you been cheating on me?" Me, "No, why would ask that question?" Him, "I found condoms in the bottom of a pharmacy bag when I was cleaning." Me, "Yes, I bought them when you left me the first time, but I never used them. I could never use them because I have always been faithful to you. It was a mistake. Do you believe me?" Him, "Yes, I know you would never do that to me." Forward to 2 weeks ago, August 17th. He wants to talk about our relationship because now he wonders if his happiness the past year was real. We talk, and he seems to be listening, but I think he is looking for a way out. Forward to 1 week ago, August 23rd. I go on another business trip and return on August 23rd. Husband departs for NYC with his best friend and his sons for guys getaway. He barely answers his phone and when he does, he tries to hang up quickly. I cry because I know what is coming and he tells me that that is not the case. He wants to talk. I finally call a friend, but I am embarrassed and ashamed. I try to speak to him last night and he hurts my feelings. He calls me an idiot, a moron, and stupid. I cry. I sob. He tells me to leave him alone and he sleeps in another bedroom. This morning he says he wants to move forward with a divorce. I am so very devastated because everything seemed to be okay up until 3 weeks ago. Why is this happening? I can't eat, sleep. I am drinking and in a state of shock. He won't answer my calls or respond to text. I don't know what to do. I am so lost and in tremendous pain. He wants me to agree to the separation terms and is asking me about how we should sell the house. I am not ready for this. It's hard to even get out of bed in the morning or off the couch. I called in today because I knew I would not be able to handle the pressure as the talk at work is always about someone getting married. I know, very, very envious, and I am sorry I feel that way. I did contact a lawyer on yesterday and have an app this coming Tuesday. Husband wants an in-house separation. We have not children and with our other finances, neither of us can afford to move out on our own. This makes it worse. I have to still see him every day knowing he is moving forward with a D. My 99 just called and I am so distraught that I pull myself away from everything and everyone because I choose not to be a burden. Thank God I have the forums to turn to. I do not want this divorce, but he is saying that he has to be selfish for his sake. How narcissistic is that? The first time he cheated, I had a feeling in the pit of my stomach. While I am not sure if he isn't known, I am not getting that sinking feeling. Is this normal? This man who says he is unhappy is not the man I married. He used to be active, running and working out. He did yard work, spent time traveling. He has not done any of that since last year. I am a runner and I kept up my routines even when he was not interested. He is often on the couch watching TV. I think he is depressed, but dare I say that because he is a little self-absorbed to have that kind of insight. He is now on his way home and says he does not have plans this weekend. I am sure what that means. He wants us to list the contents of our home and separate. I am really not up for this discussion this weekend. We just returned last month from an anniversary trip to Aruba and it included his family. I am so astonished at where I find myself today. How do I face him this evening? How my friends have plans for the holiday weekend. Should I stay in the basement and avoid him? I just don't want to spend the money on traveling somewhere since now I have to prepare myself for lawyer fees and possibly court fees. In addition, our finances will need to be discussed and so I realize that I have to avoid any unnecessary spending. I could retreat to our bedroom. He is sleeping in another room. I will most likely go to the gym or for a run. I will try to keep myself busy, but it is hard. I am literally devastated right now because my H left the house to supposedly go to our best friend's house and he packed a change of clothes. So maybe our best friends are covering up. I find that hard to believe. I feel like I'm losing my mind. This is too darn difficult. He says that he wants out and tells me that this is a decision he made for himself. He says there is longer in us. He says he needs to be selfish to obtain happiness. He completely and utterly destroyed me mentally and emotionally. This morning, something deep tells me not to fight for. He wants to proceed with it, so I have no hope. I cannot believe the level of disdain towards me. I am not the enemy. Now, I am no wondering if I married the wrong person. Because he is not the husband, I know, especially this last year. However, how can treat with kindness, respect, and provide comfort 1 minute and then flip out on you? It hurts to think that he would violate our marriage vows for another woman. I keep looking at the phone to call, but I don't. He probably would not have answered. But my brain is racing with the worst things because of childhood abuse. This is where my IC says I am preconditioned to expect the worst, to think negatively. Well, I have been working on that for about a year and I am a work of progress. As for today, I am not ready to face anyone. Maybe tomorrow. It is hard for me to be selfish. I don't believe that is a characteristic trait. Darn, my mind just raced again. I am thinking about he is doing with Theo, if any, or what he is doing at his friend's house. This rejection makes me feel pitiful because I did beg, pleaded, and talk. I don't want a divorce and he say no matter what I say, he is still going to proceed. In Virginia, it requires a 6-month separation before divorce is granted. It is 12 months if you have children. How do I expose the other woman, if any? How do I research when I don't know her name? How will H react to the exposure? He may sue me. I am thinking about going dark on him because right now I am so sad that it hurts. Maybe I should terminate contact with him to give each of room. He is at his best friend's house and is expected to return to our home tomorrow. But I am thinking about packing up his stuff, clothes, TV, and putting them in the garage. I am also thinking about changing the locks before he returns tomorrow, but I am scared that he will see this as active aggression and he will not like it. Sunday morning and my H calls to tell me he should be home by noon today. The last time he was here, we had a brief argument. I do not want that to happen again, so I need help if we get into a discussion on our marriage. However, I believe his depression is the cause for him wanting a divorce. Before you say it, I am not making excuses. When we first met up until our marriage had problems 5 years ago, my husband was happy. We spent time with each other's family and friends. We traveled extensively, we were avid runners, and we both enjoyed spending time together cooking. All of this has stopped, except for a brief family trip we just took in July. He is home all of the time. She sits on the couch and watches TV or playing video games. He is 51 years old. He had the hair on his chest removed 3 years ago. He has gained weight, 25 pounds, because he is just a couch potato. I'm not saying this to be mean, but he is depressed, and I want to help him. When he tells me about what is going on with his job, he seems that he is covering up what is going on there. 2 years ago, as a part of his performance review, he was told he was at the bottom of the barrel of all the managers. He was very hurt by this, but he is also prideful, so I know there will never be a way, or at least I think, for him to possibly see that he truly is depressed. Our MC from last year was really about to make a breakthrough with my H on this, but he kept pushing back. I knew we shouldn't have stopped seeing her. What to do? I am having a hard time right now. Just spoke to him. He says he has made up his mind. He wants a divorce. I am screaming as I am typing. I guess I am really scared about shutting off all communication with him. I have been the one trying to reach out and now I am cutting off all contact. He wanted to stay separated while rooming together, and I know he will be mad as hell that he has to spend extra money when he has legal fees and such when I tell him that he cannot stay in our marital home. I know I should not worry about that because he's shown a complete apathy towards our marriage. I guess I don't want him to hate me because I have been professing my love. I know that my husband is going through a midlife crisis. He is displaying all of the characteristics. And because I love him, I am frightened for him. Yes, people in MLC care more for themselves than they do anyone else. They feel it is their time to be selfish, feeling the desire to act out because as the aging process continues, they see their youth slipping away from them. He thinks he only has a few years left and feels as though he is missing out on life. When I ask what he wants to do for himself, he cannot answer. He thinks by removing himself from the marriage that he will be happy. While this hurts me, he may find someone new to spend time with who invigorates him. First time dating, but soon that will die down and reality sets in. I know that I have cried and probably haven't seen the last of that, but I cry out for his happiness. While he is hurting me right now, I do have compassion and consideration for him even though he is not returning the same. My husband is not a bad person, but he has turned into a very depressed, self-absorbed individual who believes his life is slipping away. He can't see that there is a deep personal issue he is experiencing because he will never admit fault with himself. I am not sure what my role should be moving forward. A caring friend. However, I cannot help him through the MLC. He will continue to justify his actions because he needs a reasoning for a divorce. He has totally rewritten our history because it serves the purpose of resolution for divorce. He is coming home today and he wants to separate our belongings. I am not sure if I have the strength to do that without crying. He wants to remain living in the house as roommates through the separation and until he files for divorce. I am so hurt. The husband came home to say that he wants to proceed with the separation with intent to divorce and that he will not change his mind. He feels that it has been a long time coming. I'm having a hard time breathing and accepting this, but I did not get hysterical. I do not understand, but I do love him and no one can fault me for that. What if he files after 6 months? I have an app tomorrow with a lawyer, so I will ask him some pertinent questions regarding my rights. He has desires for other women and he sees me as being in the way. How do I love him when I know this? H is pressuring me to read the separation agreement and agree to how we divide up our stuff. He said he wanted to talk to me about it last night, but I got home later than expected and I went to bed. He thinks I am stalling. This was his talk with me this morning. There is a hard way and there is an easy way to do this. He wants me to sit down and talk about how we separate everything we have shared together for the last 14 years. He has no clue that that is so hard for me right now. And he sees that by me not sitting down with him, then I don't want to work with him on the separation, and as D he then tells me that if I contest it, it will be difficult. I don't know what to do. I am so frustrated. Well, when I get home, the husband tells me he is sick and that he does not want to talk about anything and wants a truce. At this point, I haven't said a word to him. We have dinner, I go to my room. He comes into my bedroom and then announces that he wants me to read the separation agreement tomorrow while he is at reserve duty, and that if I do not read it then he will see that as an act of aggression and stalling and he will move out and work through the lawyers. I feel so threatened. He is being so mean to me and I went to my room. He then knocks on my bedroom door and I open the door and he proceeds to tells me that if I do not work with him, then he will move out and it will not end well for me if we go through the lawyers. I haven't done anything and I feel so powerless and devalued that I just cried. I do not know what I did nothing, I said nothing. He said he wanted a truce tonight, but he attacked me after I went to bed. I did not say anything and I did nothing to provoke his attack. I just came to bed. I even ordered dinner for him. Why is this happening? I fell asleep because of all the anger and frustration of this, as you all have also experienced. I have a couple of friends but they have newborns and I really don't want to bother them, so yes, I am dealing with this by myself, except for the wonderful support here on Ma. I thank you for offering to speak with me. I am trying to take care of myself, but it is hard. I am hardly eating and I can't get myself to even exercise. I used to run 4 times a week, well since the bomb dropped, nothing. It is even hard to engage in conversation, even at work. People at work have noticed that I am not myself. I used to laugh, smile, and really talk with colleagues and my boss, but I feel like no more talk, all work, all business. I know I don't deserve his treatment of me and I am so perplexed as to how he could treat me so poorly after everything I have done and thought I was to him. I have thought about sending a letter to his command to ask for their help in forcing my aunt to stop the affair. He is so prideful that he would hate me for doing that and would see as the spiteful wife. Maybe I should just do what he wants and let the marriage end. I am in so much pain because his reasoning is so illogical. I guess the O is really pushing him. He has never been threatening with me our entire marriage and he is just someone I do not recognize. Just a quick update. He knocks on door this morning because he has to get his uniform for duty this morning. He has already left, but he comes over to the bed and kisses me on the forehead and apologized for his behavior last night. He said he was very rude and terrible to me. He said he was drunk and very tired and upset about having duty this weekend. He continued to apologize. I didn't say anything because I was still half awake. Not sure what to make of this, but I will ignore it for now. I am actually glad that he is gone for the day. I can now regroup my thoughts, get moving on doing things for myself today. I am going for a run, then stop for coffee. I have got to get myself out of this funk. I don't know if he was lying to me last night or every time we were together in the past. I have to get myself out of this situation. My emotional health cannot handle this. He will not leave, so how do I detach if he is still in the house? I will have to make myself scarce moving forward and stick to it. He wants the benefits of the home I provide. Dinner, clean clothes, and a good wife, but he does not want a relationship with me. Hard to face that. If he is going to be here and not with his O, which I think because he wants me to agree to everything including selling the house because he needs the equity, then I can't be around when he is here. I will no longer be available for him to abuse and hurt. He has serious issues that he cannot face. He is narcissistic, self-absorbing, and self-obsessed. These traits I have never seen in him until now. I cannot change him. He is dreaming of a fantasy in which he sees his life as being happier with someone who hangs on to his every word and one where as always is the hero, saving the day for everyone. He does not want to feel or acknowledge that he is inadequate in any fashion. This is the self-absorbed alien H that I do not like. Years ago, I had to admit my issues and sought the support of a great I see to help me face them without being fearful of what it said about me. My H is gone. So, I have to be gone, detached, unfeeling toward him moving forward. I cannot be as cruel to him as he has been to me. I will still be kind and even loving, from afar, but I have to look after myself. I cannot afford to buy him out of our house, so I will have to think about what to do in that regard. I have another house that I am paying the mortgage on for my mother. This all sucks because both of our incomes have given us a comfortable life. He wants me to buy him out, I think, and is now blaming my mother for using me. But he was the one that said that we should buy a place for her because her health was failing and she didn't have enough retirement to sustain her monthly expenses. I just sent a message to my mother on this because I now have to make other arrangements or think more about what to do. Oh God, I love the man that is now missing from my H's body. Why is he being so selfish? I spend a lot of time alone. I was planning on treating myself to a spa day today, but I am on the couch watching TV and will most likely do housework today. We had dinner and he is talking about work and then he asks about when we can have conversation about D. I said that I was sorry he felt that way, but he could talk to my lawyer if he wanted convo on D. Well, he got angry and said that if that is how I wanted to play it, then either one of us could go for anything from each other in the D. He also said the D was going to happen whether I liked it or not. Well, I blew it and mentioned the O and how he was a liar and a cheater. He is supposed to be an officer and that he had no moral values. Yes, I know it was wrong, but I was so emotional. I also told him that if he could not be honest with me about his affair, then yes, of course he would have been unhappy with me because he has been living a two-life lot. One where he wants folks to believe and trust in his honesty and integrity, and the other where he is bonking the O and being secretive and dishonest and carrying on an illicit affair with a married woman with children. The OH is also a state patrolman. I was so upset with him that I threw a shoe at him because he wanted to hurt me, so I told him not some closer, so I threw a shoe. He stopped and just sat on the couch and asked how much longer I was going to lecture him. I then quieted down. Well, we both did, and he just hugged his knees and rocked back and forth a bit. This was probably the first and last heated argument between us, because I am done with his lying and cheating. He also has an issue with watching porn, but I have never exposed that. I told him that his O was using him and that I have been a friend, not just a wife, to him for years on end. I admitted my faults, but that he added up my concern and care for him, he would be able to see the difference. Well, he told me he is happier being a liar and cheat because he didn't have to think about me or my feelings. He has lied and cheated on me with this O for the last year, even after coming home telling me that he could not live without me. I feel so unloved and pitiful. I have allowed him to cheat and lie to me for months. He makes me feel like I am the most gullible woman on earth and one who didn't deserve to be truthful with. That is why I got so upset tonight, but of course his reaction is, see how you are acting. But he was the one who was threatening, and that I didn't or don't agree to his every word, which I think I did by saying I am sorry that he felt that way and told him to call my lawyer. Well, he doesn't want to go the lawyer for anything but an agreed-upon settlement because of the expense. He then also told me that he would call the security department at his job and let them know that I may do something to harm him, not physically, but through defamation, SP, of character. What? Is he kidding? He is having an affair and I am the one who is insane. The trash can. He is never going to be able to see how he has treated me without warrant and how he has spoken to me with the most carelessness. I am not sure what is going on, but he says that he now needs to make coffee at home in the mornings to save money. And the fact that he is pushing for me to buy him out of the house is also troubling because I think he wants to take care of O. She wouldn't be able to move with him or from her H without monetary support, and he is willing to give up this house that he spent years building with his own hands. Baffling. Well, I was calm by the end of the conversation, and H was just like a kid with his knees up and his head on his knees. I told him that I was his friend and apologized for getting upset, but we both pushed each other's buttons tonight. He did not respond, but just sat that. I apologized again, wished him a good night, and came up to bed to post. So, I can take it. I reacted badly to him, didn't I? I am very distraught still at this moment, as my mind cannot wrestle with the fact that this imposter, liar, and cheater has actually accused me of being the aggressor. While I should not have thrown a shoe at him, and he told me that I also threw the remote, but I do not remember that he threatened to have an injunction issued against me if I were to call the O, tell the O husband, or call his job. I could not believe my ears. Then he said he would rather be a liar and cheat. Who says that? I am crying for everything I have lost, how I have been treated, how I could have forgiven him the first time to be betrayed and treated with the kind of evil that is truly heartbreaking. I called my lawyer and left him 2 messages. He is with a client until 4 p.m. EST. I want to change the locks, I want to not be here anymore to deal with this, and I want him to suffer a little. I spoke to my boss today because I am not going to work tomorrow. I can't, and if I have to see my lawyer I am hoping tomorrow. I will file now for adultery, and then hire a PI to get the proof as a part of the settlement. I am so hurt that I am numb right now. I am dying inside of raw emotions. How could a human being with feelings and emotions causes this unbearable pain and grief? It is not likely that I could ever recover from his vile attacks and treatment. Oh, by the way, when he left after coming home to pack, he said for me never to contact him by phone or text. He is only going to communicate via email. He has the power. I could not say or do anything but cry. I know I will have to lift my head up at some point, but I am truly at a loss of myself. I need to look after my interest and be smart. I am going to start looking for another place that I can afford alone because it will give me a new start. He is running away from his life because he has an passive-aggressive disorder. It is a dynamic born of fear of being controlled, fear of confrontation, hidden anger, and an inability to deal straight with people. My comment: I hope you can move on and realize that your ex's behavior is not a reflection of anything you have or haven't done. His behavior tells the story of him and no one else.